This is the Highland Park 20-inch saw. If you get the premium blade, it does not come with a 20-inch blade. It comes with a 500mm blade. So that work out to be about 3/8 of an inch smaller than 20. However, there's plenty of room. You could put a green blade in here and get your full 20, no problem. The vise is super tight. It's shaking the whole saw, so there's no slop in that at all. Lock it, it shakes the whole saw, nice and tight. Clearly built with tight tolerances. There's a speed control change. If we're going to do this with my left hand. Right now I've got on the middle speed. Just lift this up, change to the speed you want, push this back down. Speed is changed. We're going to leave it on the middle for now. I did order this with the EverClean system. It already has the cutouts for it here and back there, but it's on back order, so I'll have to show that another time. This takes, I believe, 8 gallons of oil. We'll get that up here in a little bit. Just the thickness and the quality of the metal on this thing is impressive. It's heavy. This was a heavy saw. All right, loaded up a fairly big chunk of picture jasper from Idaho. It's in there. It shakes the whole saw. So I'm gonna get some oil and we'll get this thing oiled up. Double check it rock's good. Lock the vise. Chains adjusted. We're ready to cut. Better enjoy that clean oil because it's the last time it's going to be clean. Buttons out. Looks like we're pulling about 5 amps. Well, 328 watts, 330 watts. I don't know how well the audio is going to pick up. I'm recording from my phone just to capture some of the noise it makes. It's not terrible. First cut, let's see how she did. Let it sit a minute. Hopefully we don't have too much misting, otherwise I'll have to let it sit longer in the future. Not too bad. We're back to about the 20-inch. It's getting quite dirty. I've got, I don't know, dozens of cuts in it at this point. It's been pretty much running around the clock since I've had it, except for when I'm sleeping. Otherwise, I throw a rock in it, I adjust the chain, which I can show you here in a minute, and I hit the button and we're cutting. So my oil is getting quite dirty. I guess my only complaint at this point is the EverClean, which I ordered with the saw, is on back order, so I don't have it. So I'm starting to get sludge buildup in the saw, but that's not a fault of the saw. I just really wish I had it because I don't like scooping sludge out and cleaning saws. I was really hoping to be able to avoid that. So you can see it's getting all mucked up. But that's normal. That's normal. Hopefully when the Everclean comes in, I can do a new video and show you with the Everclean. But so far, I mean, I've used it enough. I can tell whether or not I like this saw, and I can tell you right now, I love it. I'm glad I went Highland Park. The other saw I was looking at was Covington, and they're just they're not the same caliber. They are not built the same. Sherman, I think, did a video of comparison between Covington and Highland Park, and the differences are pretty obvious. Something else I've noticed too, a lot of people, there's almost a cult following of the old original Highland Park saws where they were made in America. And there's kind of a negative outlook from some people about these newer saws made in China. Not knocking it. I would prefer to buy a saw made in America. I'm not happy with the fact that this is manufactured in China and I bought it and imported it here, but there's nothing else on the market like this for this price point. And that's just the fact of the matter. I looked at the Covington for the price. If you like Covington, that's great. I'm not knocking it. I'm sure it's a good saw, but for the money, you're getting a lot more saw with this. It's a much better design overall. Just the detail that goes into this. If you go on YouTube and you watch John's videos of the changes they make to these saws, even still, even recently, there are changes to the covering for the arbor, and he's making these changes because they use these saws. They run a lapidary shop, so when they run into a problem, they update it and they release a video about it. So I really appreciate that as a customer. It matters to me, and that's part of the reason why I decided to spend my money with Highland Park. In terms of features, there's plenty of videos to cover that, but just some of the things I like about it. I wasn't sure about this hinge design at first. I like it because to close it, I grab the hinge and I pull this. Okay. So if you can't reach the top, that's okay. I don't ever grab it by the top anyway. I grab this part of the hinge and I pull it towards me, and I bring the lid down to me. That's how I close the lid. And to open it, it props itself open. I like that because it's a very simple design and it's very functional. There are other ways to do this. My other saw had a string on it that would hold the lid up. You just basically tip the lid back till the string caught it. It worked. It was simple, but this works better. And honestly, it's just as simple. I've got a rock in here, so I don't want to undo the vise. There's plenty of videos that shows how it works. In my old saw, there wasn't like this quick release feature. You had to spin the vise the whole way. So if you're changing between sizes of rocks, you were sitting there spinning that vise for quite a while. This thing, you only have to spin just about an inch out of here to get this loose, then the whole vise slides. Then you set your distance with these holes. I like that. I like that feature. Getting a shot from this side of the vise, hopefully it picks up everything I want to show. Unfortunately, we are getting very dirty. It's just, that's the nature of the saw. That's the way they all get. That's why I ordered the Everclean. But on this side, you can see very simple release. Free slide the rock, lock it. One of the things I like about this, the indexer, I'm not sure what you actually, I'm sure there's a term for it. I call it the indexer because I'm indexing the stone. I count the cranks and it gets me about where I want to be. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that's about how thick I want to be. Somewhere between 8 and 10. 8 gets me, well, I'll show you. This is about the thickness 8 cranks gets me. My hands are dirty, otherwise I would put a tape measure on it. But it's pretty close to 1/4 of an inch. So it's pretty easy to just give it 8 cranks and you're good to go. One of the other features I really like about it is this adjustable chain. So depending on the size of the rock you're cutting, you can select how far you want the rock to go before it pulls the switch over here. And I'll zoom in on the controls here in a bit. But it's pretty simple. Lock in your vise, dial how thick you want your cut, unlock it, move it where you want it, lock it, close up the saw. Very easy. try not to get oil all over everything, and you're ready to cut. On your controls, you have the lid safety switch. So if you try to open it while the saw is on, it will cut it off. I'm not going to demonstrate that because there will be some momentum and it will sling some oil. I don't feel like coating myself with oil. The stop button, if you just want to stop the saw, you just push it in. To undo that, you just give it a twist and it pops free. The start button, of course, and then the switch over here for when the vise moves forward to the end of that chain, shuts your saw off. And it's like a hard shut off because even when you flip the switch back, it's off until you hit the green button again. So pretty straightforward. Some of the older Highland Park equipment, the stuff that was made in America back in the day, I don't remember the exact years, almost has a cult following. I've seen used equipment that some of the original Highland Park equipment go for near the prices of new. And I believe the reason is due to that cult following of the older stuff was better and it was made in America. Highland Park also runs a lapidary company. They run their lapidary company with their equipment. So when they run into a problem, they'll post a video about it. When they have an improvement because of something they've noticed, they'll post a video about it. Matter of fact, John's got a video out talking about changes to the cover for the arbor because they noticed some issues with it because they're running it in their lapidary. So they've updated it. I believe this is the new cover. I'm not taking it apart to find out, but they use their products and they continue to improve their products even today. This is not the same saw that it was a long time ago. I'm not paid by them. I'm not sponsored. I didn't get a discount. They didn't ask me to make this video. It's just, it's a lot of money. It's a big investment. You really want to know where you're putting your money because I could have bought, a Covington or maybe a Diamond Pacific. Maybe. I probably can't afford a Diamond Pacific, but it's a lot of money. So you want a quality product. Anyway, that's probably enough of me rambling on about the saw.